Call it what you want. Hey, call it what you want. Cut it up, cut it up. Give it emotion like a. Cut it up, cut it up. See you clearly, huh? You remind me of something I never seen before. Yeah. Where you come from? Never seen it, huh?
Welcome to Blank Canvas, where artists talk about nothing being everything. And right now we have a special guest today, and he go by the name of UnLearn The World. What's up, bro?
Peace, bro.
Now, quick story. The first time I heard about you was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was doing a show at the Boom Boom Room.
Yeah.
And it was hip hop happy hour, so I was basically doing it at like 7 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't basically getting booked by the booking people, so I chose a slot to where it was already open, to where nobody was there, and to where I didn't have to go through a lot of stuff. So boom.
Yeah.
So one of them days I was doing that. I think it was Return of the Cypher. Maybe it was a Sunday.
Okay.
And you had an album release party. You had an album release party. And this was probably like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So that was the first time I heard of you. UnLearn The World. And now I finally met you. Crazy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Where that name come from?
It's a combination of a lot of things. I always tell people it's from my favorite movie and my favorite song. So my favorite movie is this movie called Higher Learning, directed by the late great John Singleton. At the end of the movie, in big bright red letters, it says the word unlearn. And when I was a kid, I liked the character Ice Cube plays in that movie, and I thought that would just be like a cool archetype to have, just like as a cool dude. And I loved the word. I thought the word resonated with me. And then fast forward years later, I'm already an artist in my 20s, and I watched the movie again. I'm like, I want to change my name. I was going to do like a rebranding, and I was like, I'm going to change my name to Unlearn. And then I think there was already a band from like Canada or something with the name like that. So I said, okay, I got to add something extra to it or whatever. And then I thought about the song that made me want to rap to begin with was The World Is Yours by Nas. And I said, okay, I'm going to put them together. I'm going to say Unlearn the World. And that's just kind of my philosophy in general. Like, I always tell people we're creatures of the things that we've agreed to and the things that we accept in society. And the things that we often agree to and accept in society are rooted in what we've been conditioned to believe and what we've been conditioned to understand about the reality that we live in. And in order for us to find what our purpose is, we have to start breaking down that conditioning and reverse it. So you literally have to unlearn the world to find who you are and where you stand in all of it. You know what I mean? So it's a perpetual reminder for me.
Right, and that tells so much, because I also said that, like, man, we gotta unlearn the shit that we learned,
right,
to relearn what's gonna work for us or what's gonna propel us.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and it's a perpetual process. It's not like I don't come from a position of arrogance or like I have the answers. I'm trying to explain to everybody through my music and everything else, like, here's what I'm going through in order to unlearn the world. This is my process as a human being. Here are all my faults, all my ratchet, or my righteous, all of the things inside of it. You know what I mean?
My whole hairball.
Everything, exactly. So, you know, that becomes the mission statement, so to speak.
Crazy. Oh man, I got so many questions. First, you sound like you're from the East Coast. So
yes,
know where you're
indeed.
From.
Born and raised New York City, New York, Washington Heights specifically. Okay. For those who don't know, it's right above Harlem. So you have Harlem and then you have Washington Heights.
I stayed in Spanish Harlem for like 9 months.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I went to like high school in Spanish Harlem for a little bit. But it's, for people in the Bay Area, it's like the Mission District, but like with black people who talk Spanish, because you know we're all Dominicans. So like that's the kind of environment or like neighborhood that my neighborhood was like.
Dope, man. Inspirations.
Life, man. Like I always, this question is always weird because it depends on who's asking, when they're asking, what part of life you're in. So right now, I would say my current inspiration is the culture of hip hop, like the history of hip hop, like how it started. Like I'm a hip hop educator, so I teach it. You know what I mean? And I go back to like the 70s and the early 80s, and I watch all the documentaries that were trying to capture this movement when it was just like a street thing. You know what I mean? And that's what's inspiring me now, because I feel like in the Bay Area, particularly, we have a lot of the same energy going on. You got a lot of these underground shows and a lot of these underground communities that are keeping the culture alive, and it's becoming a form of activism, considering like the tech world that we're in, the startup world, and gentrification becoming such a big thing. Like, you need to be able to maintain some level of cultural integrity in these certain neighborhoods, be it the Fillmore or certain spots of Oakland, and you can only do that through the artistry. The artistry is what's going to bring people together and create that platform for other issues to be discussed and for people to unify. So,
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, it's just like the old school, how hip hop started is what's been inspiring me a lot, and just kind of resurrecting that sound of the golden era that I grew up in, you know what I'm saying? And keeping it contemporary, but evoking that real hip-hop feel to it.
Right. Crazy. I see you got some Tiger Eye on there. That's my favorite gem. Explain how you... Was spirituality, was that something that you got from your parents, or did you stumble upon that?
I associated with my late grandmother. I think she was the matriarch of our family. From my mother's side, she was a very devout Christian woman. So my concept of God came from her and seeing her pray and things of that nature. I grew up in a Jewish household, like, so away from my grandmother from like age 0 to 13. I grew up in a Jewish household. We went to synagogue and I went to Hebrew school and all of that, right? So I understood the concept of religion. I understood the concept of God. I converted to Islam very young. I converted to Islam when I was 15. I still consider myself Muslim, but my interpretation of spirituality is completely evolved, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So like, I incorporate like ideas of like spirit science and metaphysics and a lot of different things that I've learned over the course of this adult life, studying spirituality, practicing meditation, prayer, all these things, divine willing intention, all of these different things. So the crystal thing it's just like stones and crystals, like that's a new part of it. You know what I'm saying? I used to laugh at people who used to like mess around with stones and crystals, but they don't recognize the value. I see it right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like Tiger's Eye, for what it represents, like I used to actually have a bracelet of it, but it's one of those eye-catching things, but then it's also good for just like grounding and, you know what I'm saying, like insight and all of that. I used to have an amethyst piece on this side, so like it's a stone that not only captures the eye, but the resonance and the importance of it is cool. So just spirituality as a whole, though, is something that I think I find in what I do. Right? It becomes a form of worship. It becomes a form of elevation and transcendence.
So how was it for you? How did you begin to open up for guys like Big Daddy Kane and Killer Mike and them type of guys?
I think just being in the industry, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid, I interned for a lot of different record labels, Bad Boy, Loud Records, and then I started like trying to get into the industry, get a job or get a record deal and all of that. I had a manager who worked for Rockefeller, he worked for Def Jam, Murder Inc., all of that. So just kind of by virtue of trying to be in the industry, you meet different people and you become, you network. And I got the opportunity to tour on the Lyricist Lounge Club Series tour. So Lyricist Lounge was like a platform for up and coming artists in New York City, and they were doing a tour around the country. So they had headliners like Big Daddy Kane, Killer Mike. This is around 2002, 2003. I did one show at this spot called SOBs. It's a really popular underground spot in New York City. And they liked me so much from that one show when I opened it up that they put me on the tour for like 3 months doing different dates with different groups. So like Dead Prez, Killer Mike, Big Daddy Kane, all of that came from Lyricist Lounge Club Series tour and just like being on the scene in New York, you know.
That's crazy. All right, we're gonna do something called this or that. So I'm basically just gonna name different things and you're gonna pick this or that.
Okay.
All right. Hot or cold?
Cold.
Cold. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee. And I'll take it back. I'm gonna go with dogs.
Okay. Go dogs.
Yeah.
This is like a 3-1 because I didn't know. Oatmeal, cream of wheat, or grits?
Grits.
Favorite character of The Office? You ever seen The Office?
Michael Scott, hands down.
Scott.
Or Dwight Schrute, but Michael was
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
That's funny. Favorite movie? Maybe 3.
Okay, Scarface, The Matrix, and Pulp Fiction.
Okay, I got it. I've seen a little bit of Pulp Fiction. The other 2 I know. Favorite artist? Maybe top 3.
Sade, Jay-Z, and Biggie.
Snow or sun?
Sun.
Sun. Think or act? What spectrum?
Act.
Act.
Yeah.
Blank canvas. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, call it what you. Cut it up, cut it up. Keep it in motion like a.